Hey, you Saints Row fans, sorry I've been gone. Today, I basically wanted to talk about the new DLC that's on its way. We're going to be getting it in July, so we've still got a bit to go, but I thought I'd basically get some early predictions out the gate, and maybe we could do an updated one right before the release to kind of see how correct or wrong I was. So, we're going to basically go over the few things I kind of do know about this DLC, and put together some sort of thoughts towards it, and explain as much as we can about what we're going to be getting in July. Of course, the date is not confirmed yet, so it could be early July, it could be late. If the last DLC is anything to go off, hopefully it's earlier than later. Unless that means we're trading quality, in which case, please delay it as much as you want. We need a good DLC, for the love of God. So, let's get straight into the video. The first thing we basically know about this DLC is it is not a mission pack. I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm 99% sure from what they've basically hinted towards us and what they have said to us, it is not a mission pack. We are not going to be doing missions, we are not going to be playing a campaign, which, wholeheartedly, I think is a good thing. Let's be honest, okay? Let's be 100% real with ourselves. The last mission pack we had wasn't fantastic and it wasn't fleshed out all that well. This game's story probably isn't going to be the forefront of this game, let's be honest. So if they want to add more gameplay experiences opposed to story experiences, with how the reboot's kind of gone, I'm okay with it. I don't think story is something that should be focused on at this point, and I want to specify at this point before everyone takes it out of context. The reboot's gone this certain direction. I don't think there's any pulling back, so let's try and make the gameplay as fun as possible. That's my mindset right now going into it, and I think that them focusing on a sort of gameplay-focused pack might be for the best. With it being a mission pack, it means that basically it's just going to be a bit of a gameplay enhancement. It's going to overhaul the middle island, which is New Birmingham. I'm just going to get it on screen just so you guys are aware. It's right here. It's the New Birmingham Island, it's called. It's basically where the Murder Circus was set in the campaign. And it was pretty cool then, so I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be pretty cool now in the DLC. And from what I get, it's going to be hopefully a replayable sort of gameplay activity, basically adding a lot to the game's gameplay and allowing us to kind of go through a sort of activity sequence that's a bit better than the Criminal Ventures. From the gist I've been getting, it's essentially going to be a glorified Genki activity. If you've ever played like the Genki activity where you basically go through the maze and shoot the mascots and all that stuff, it's going to be like that from what I kind of gather, or at least along those lines, but enhanced and kind of different, which I don't mind. I'm all up for them basically focusing on a kind of combat-based activity. I actually don't think there's a ton of combat-based activities in the game. I feel like a lot of them are just kind of go here, drive here, deliver this here. Did anyone else see that car just randomly disappear? What the fuck? But yeah, like, I'm kind of cool with them focusing on a combat-orientated DLC, and I'm personally okay with that, so that'll be nice and interesting to see. We also know that it's solo only, which is really sucky. Unfortunately, no co-op. I don't get why they would do that. I imagine it's just they couldn't get the co-op to work and they didn't want to say it, but that's probably the situation there. But that's really all we kind of know. It's going to be a sort of murder circus activity based on the middle island with no co-op on us. Now I'm going to basically get into the sort of speculation side of the video. From what I'm gathering, I feel like it's basically going to be a sort of King of the Hill sort of experience. Essentially, if you've ever played like H1Z1 or like PUBG or anything, we're going to land on this island and basically have to fight it out to be the last one standing is kind of what I've been getting at. What I imagine this is going to be is a Hunger Games situation. A bunch of contestants go into the island and only one can come out style thing. And the reason I kind of guess this is because we don't play as ourselves. The fact we don't play as the boss kind of leads me to believe that it's going to be something we could lose and be killed at and basically lose the actual activity, which I actually think is really interesting. So essentially, we're going to create a character, land on the island, and basically fight to be the last one alive, which I think is really cool, finding weapons around the place. Again, we saw this in the actual campaign where we had to go to these weird like coffin things and pull out weapons, whether it be melee weapons or ranged weapons, so that's really cool. And essentially, it's going to be a sort of battle royale sequence thing, where we're going to go around collecting weapons and basically fight it out to be the last one alive. That's my theory. For me personally, I don't mind that. I think it'll be pretty fun, and the idea of basically landing as a different character and going around and trying to kill these enemies could be pretty cool. I may be way off, that's just my speculation. And the fact it's like a murder circus makes me think it's just from this combat-focused experience where a bunch of enemies are going to be there and you're going to be fighting it out to be the last one alive. Again, kind of like the campaign mission. And I personally look forward to it. I think it'll be a really cool DLC, and the idea of basically going to an island and just having to kill anything in sight sounds like it could be fun. I'm really interested to see what approach they take. Do they take kind of a solo battle royale style approach to the game? Or is it going to be something more like the Genki activity from like Saints Row 3, where you're basically going through a course, killing a bunch of enemies to reach the end? You know, is it going to be like a highest score style situation? Is it going to be a last man standing? Is it going to be reach an endpoint? These are all things that we can kind of debate and question going through this sort of build up to the DLC phase. We've only had like 2 images. One was a card, and the other was this sort of like promotional material, so nothing really exciting. But what I'm kind of getting is that we're basically going to see an island overhaul where it's just going to be completely combat centric, and the only way I can really think of an island being combat centric would be kind of like the Hunger Games style situation, which is my guess for what this DLC could contain. I may be way off. So what I hope from this basically is I hope it adds something really unique to this game that no other Saints Row has. No other Saints Row has had this sort of like battle it out style activity. I mean, yeah, there's been things like it. I guess the closest again would be that Genki activity. But if this is kind of like you land in an island and have to kill everything in sight to survive, and it just becomes increasingly hard, kind of like a horde mode, that sounds fun to me. That honestly does sound like something kind of unique. And if the reboot can pull it off, it'd be kind of cool. Then again, I don't know how they're going to pull it off. It may come out and not be very fun at all. But, you know, I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible. You know, despite everything with a reboot, I still hope for this DLC pack to be good, just like I did the last one, and we can only see how it turns out. I personally didn't mind the last one all that much, despite it being a little bit filler at the start. I hope they really take their time and really flesh it out, especially since they have an extra couple months to work on this DLC pack. I'm really looking forward to it, so I guess what I really want out of it is a replayable, combat-orientated mode, where it's kind of like a King of the Hill situation. Boot Hill Island just sounds like the perfect sort of King of the Hill place and location to be set, and Murder Circus sounds fun as hell. I would really like to see some really cool boss fights too. If they can have some of those, that'd be really great. We know that there's a character returning too. My estimation is that it's Genki, but it could be someone else. You never know. Either way, I look forward to it. Let me know what you think. What do you guys want from this DLC? What is it you're after? Because I know not many people are talking about this one in specific. You got people shitting on the LARPing DLC, and people kind of mixed on the Heist and Hazardous, but this one's kind of going under the radar. So let me know what you guys think about this DLC. Are you happy? Are you sad? Is this what you want? Is this not what you want? You know, let me know what you're basically hoping for. My estimation is basically just going to be a solo mode that's like basically replicating some sort of multiplayer experience where you go into an island, kill a bunch of enemies to be the last one standing. That's kind of my guess, and I'm curious to see your guys' takes down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video. Feel free to subscribe. I am covering Saints Row slowly but surely. I apologize for being so like out of the loop with Saints Row. I've just been kind of taking some time for myself, you know, enjoying life and stuff. So yeah, take care everyone, and I'll see you soon.